He's got speed. He's got power. He's in your face. He's always hunting you down. You know what I mean? This is a great challenge, if not more than that, ahead of Bud Crawford.
You know, some guys talk the talk. Terence Crawford really walks the walk. He could have jumped up in weight and taken on a lesser opponent, maybe a more well-known opponent. Madrimov is a title holder, but to your point, not the most well-known figure in the U.S. Terence Crawford said, no, I want the very best in my first fight at 154, and I think he's getting it.
Trust me, you know Charlo, you know Tszyu, you know there's a host of other names out there at 154. You know Fundora. This guy, I hate to say it, he's better than those guys in his own respective way. You know what I mean? He brings a charisma and a style and an energy to the ring that not many can bring at 154.
Now, you heard Eddie Hearn talking about Madrimov being a huge 154. I don't see too big a size difference right there between those two men. I think Terence is going to fill out 154 pretty well.
Absolutely. Even making 147 against Errol Spence Jr., I think only his second or third fight at 147, give or take. And he said, hey, I've already grown out of 154. He's a big kid. He's a big young man. And he's going to fill in the 154 nicely.
For people that don't know Madrimov all that well, what makes him such a challenge? Because he is only 10-0. Yes, he has that world title strap around his shoulder, but there's not a lot on that professional resume.
Not much on the resume, but here's the thing. He brings a lot of aggression. And it's not just the aggression from a standpoint of a lot of punches or I'm all up on you, you're against the ropes. He brings the mental pressure as well. It wears you down. Every fighter, you got to be honest and say, hey, when somebody's in my face and they keep me thinking, that's one thing you have to do with Terence Crawford. I know that from my own experience. You got to make that man think and make him think and make him keep thinking. And if he gets to a point where he's like, oh, I got you, you probably got.
You shared the ring, as you said, with Terence Crawford in your last fight. What kind of pressure is he going to bring on fight night?
Crawford brings and that was the pressure that Crawford brought to me. He made me think. I'd never been in the ring with someone that made me continue to think the way that he made me think.
Got a little antsy there between Sean Porter and Terence Crawford. Step right in here. Former rivals become friends here again. Terence, congratulations on this fight. A hell of an event coming up on August 3rd in Los Angeles. You have been mentioned with a lot of names over the last 6 months. Tell us how it came to be that you are fighting Israil Madrimov.
Well, my way to 154 led me to be fighting Israil. I consider him the best, junior middleweight fighter in the division right now. And when Turkey had called me, he was just like, hey, this is a fight that, we want to make. And I was like, hey, let's make it. So, he made everything happen, and here we are.
You've been watching these cards over in Saudi Arabia over the last couple of years. What was it like to get that phone call from Turki Al-Sheikh where he says, hey, I want you to be on my first U.S. show?
Well, like I said, I've been in contact with him, so we've had a relationship since 2001. I believe, when he first reached out to me, but, things happened to where I couldn't, fight. So him telling me that he wanted me to be the face of the first fight in America was just an honor. I was happy. I was just like, let's do it, Why not do it in Omaha, But LA's,
a good second choice. Yeah. No question. Your first time going nose to nose with Madrimov there, what did you see when you looked at him?
Nothing. We months away from fight time. Come fight time, energy is going to be up. Focus is going to be on a whole nother level. And, we both going to come out ready to do what we do to get the job done.
I feel like it's a long time coming. You've had all this in Omaha. You get the love in Omaha. Outside of Omaha, a lot of you've had to really scrape and scratch to get people to respect you, to revere you, to feel like he is that guy. You feel like this is everything you've expected and wanted to be finally getting here?
Well, I gotta disagree with you on that, Sean.
Oh, it is what it is.
Everywhere I go in the world, it's all respect. It's all love, and people tell me that they rate me as one of the best fighters in the world today. So I won't say just today I'm getting the love. I always got the love. It's just that a lot of people hate, and that makes it seem like there's not love there, but it's always been love. But I'm appreciative of everybody that came out, showed support, and August 3rd is going to be an exciting night of boxing.
Let me stop right there. How you guys doing? Let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to break down each and every fight that's been announced for this Saudi Arabia card. By the way, I'm going to play the rest of this here, and Madrimov's going to talk next. The press conference in New York just ended not even 10 minutes ago. I think it may be still going on, or at least they're still doing interviews. For the August the 3rd, LA and Los Angeles card, likely from the, I hate calling it the Crypto Arena, Staples Center. It's always going to be the Staples Center to me. We don't know if it's going to be the Zone pay-per-view or not, but here is the card. We got a lot to talk about. Headlined by Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov. Chief support is going to be Tszyu versus Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz has to win this weekend against Tomás Delorme, ill. But whatever, we're going to cover that. By the way, Jose Ramirez is fighting Rancid Barthélemy, ill, but we're going to cover that. So you have Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov for the WBA Super and WBO interim title, which Crawford is about to address. You have Tszyu taking on Vergil Ortiz Jr. if he wins this weekend. Andy Ruiz has returned, taking on Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Did you know that Jarrell Big Baby Miller was sued by Salida Promotions for $5 million? We're going to play that clip. Isaac Olmec head Pitbull Cruz taking on Jose Rayo Venezuela, who was supposed to be on the June 15th card, taking on Edwin De Los Santos. David Morrell is also on this card, taking on Hot Rod. I just watched him fight a few weeks ago. You have Andy Cruz taking on Antonio Moran, and we're still waiting on a couple of more, if not 3 more fights to be announced on like the prelims. Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Maris are not on this card. Let's go back, finish watching this, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. We're going to go through every single fight, and of course I'll be taking questions. And then we're going to wrap up Haney versus Garcia, talk about Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Because this is a tremendous card, and like Eddie said, I can't remember the last time ever it's been a stacked card as August 3rd card is.
You know, we heard Bomac say that you want to unify the 154-pound division. Is becoming an undisputed champion in a third weight class a priority to you? Well,
it's not a priority, but it's up in the air. You gotta understand. It's potentially 2 belts on the line. You know, if Fondor don't fight me after this, I'm WBO and WBA champion. If he do fight me, then that's 3 belts on the line. There's only 1 more to capture. So, you know, potentially 3 fights, you know, that's undisputed.
And this is a big one going up against Madrimov. When you've watched him some on film, what do you see? What kind of opponent is going to be in front of you on August 3rd?
Well, I don't know. I don't never like to, you know, guess what's going to be in front of me. We know he can punch. We know he can move. We know he like to put his hands down and be elusive. You know, he got good footwork. So I don't know, you know, but we're going to be prepared for whatever he brings to the table. We're going to train like we always do, and that's, you know, hell in the cell. But, you know, he's going to do the same because we got a good relationship with his coaches, and we know they're going to prepare him to the best of his ability that they can prepare him for. And come fight night, it's going to all explode.
How have you felt? I mean, you're just getting into training camp right now, moving up in weight. Was there an adjustment going from 140 to 147? And do you think there will be a similar adjustment to 154?
I feel great. I feel great. Like I always said, I always sparred bigger guys. I never sparred guys my weight because I was always too strong or hitting too hard, and I never could get the work that I really needed, you know. So moving up in weight is just another stepping stone.
Sean, I want to put you on the spot here for a second there. Crawford Madrimov, how do you see this fight going?
I see this fight going, my first time looking at it was just this morning. I think, watched a little bit of Madrimov. I think that Terence is going to, like he always does, always takes you a couple of rounds to.
Real quick, Crawford's about 170 pounds right there, maybe more. I would say like 180. By the way, he said he was bulking up several months ago because he was really targeting the Canelo fight. But Canelo said, you know, what I have to gain from fighting him if I lose to him, you know, you lost to a small fighter, or if I beat him, I beat a smaller fighter. He didn't say lose, but that's pretty much how I'm looking at it. And then when it comes to David Benavidez is too big for him. So I'm going to get at Canelo next week. I got a lot of shit to talk about him.
Really see exactly what your guy's going to bring to you.
Canelo Munguia is next weekend, by the way.
I think you're going to get a lot of Madrimov in your face. I think that's what you expect. I expect the stick to come out from Crawford. We know this about Crawford. He starts to fight orthodox, and then he switches southpaw, and he takes over. So I expect him to start to fight orthodox. I might be telling some stories right now. I might be letting the cat out the bag a little bit, but it kind of is what it is, you know. I think this is going to be a fun fight. I think you're going to have your hands full, but I think you're gonna handle it. You always handle it, man. I don't know, man. It's just something about you. I say this about Crawford, man. Some people are just born to do what they do. Boxing and fighting is something that this kid is just born to do.
Bud, what do you think of that assessment?
Well, you know, it could be halfway right, you know, but
you can't. Yeah.
I see, you know, him coming out, jumping on me, trying to make it a fight early, being that I'm in a new division. He want to show, you know, he the boss and that he's the champ. You know, he got to gain respect right out the gate. So I see him, you know, trying to gain that respect from the gate. You know, but we shall see.
We'll see August 3rd, massive fight, first fight, part of Riyadh season UFC. Bud, good luck. It's going to be a great fight in Los Angeles. 3 weeks time though, we in.
They're going to be bringing Madrimov out next. So once again, for those who are getting here, we're going to talk about this entire press conference and do a preview on each and every fight on this card. So once again, it's going to be Terence Crawford taking on Israil Madrimov for the WBO. What's this on my screen? WBO and WBA titles. WBO interim, correction. You're going to have Tszyu taking on Vergil Ortiz Jr. if Vergil Ortiz beats Tomas Delorme this weekend. Nasty fight. You have Isaac Cruz taking on Jose Valenzuela. Isaac Cruz just coming off of beating the shit out of Rolly Romero. Rolly is forever. Rayo coming off of one of the knockouts of the year last year when he put Chris Colpere's dick in the dirt. He was supposed to fight Edwin De Los Santos on the undercard of Tank Davis versus Frank Martin and David Benavidez versus Alexander Volzdik, but he got the call for the money from the Saudis and he took it. You're going to have Andy Ruiz taking on Big Baby Miller. We got a lot to talk about. David Morrell taking on Hot Rod. And Andy Cruz taking on Antonio Moran. And Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Maris is not on this card, but you could expect that fight to be popping up sometime soon somewhere. By the way, hey, it'd be great if you can drop a like, subscribe. Madrimov is talking now. I'm not doing that. I mute this? Yeah, I did.
I heard you say on stage that Terence Crawford was your favorite fighter. How does it feel going up against your favorite fighter?
Yes, exactly. It's Crawford, my best boxer. And this moment, pound for pound, number one. And then dream fighter. I won when started pro debut. I won as a big name, you know. This moment is coming because I'm happy for the fight.
It was just a few months ago that you won your world title. What was your reaction when you got the phone call that said, hey, you have a chance to defend it against Bud Crawford?
This my line when start pro debut. I want a title shot. I'm a long time waiting this moment, you know. After victory, I'm very happy. My family happy, my country, you know. And then this moment, my time, my dream time.
We know he's your favorite fighter, and we know that you probably only got the call in the last couple of weeks. But how long have you truly been preparing to fight Terence Crawford?
Yeah, all time I see Terence Crawford's career, watching and then when listen with him fight, I'm happy, and then I say yes, let's go.
You're just getting into your training for this fight, but as you look at Terence Crawford, do you see any holes in his game?
Net? No.
If there's one thing you have to do in order to beat Terence Crawford, what do you think? You know one thing, Charlo. I got to do that, or I'm not going to win.
Одна вещь, которую ты должен сделать, чтобы не дать ему
Нарезать свою силу.
I have to make him fight my fight. Make him fight the power, pushing, and fight my style.
You know, you are a decorated amateur fighter, and you are a world champion as a pro. But as a pro, this feels like a big step up in competition. How confident do you feel going up against this level of fighter?
You know, these 10 fights very different, because это достаточно для, как скажем, для пояса, для такого боя, чтобы я провел такие бои, опыт у меня достаточно, поэтому это достаточно. Я против Хернандеса, против Волкера и Мишель Сорро я выиграл, поэтому я достаточно, я считаю, вот это соперники для боя.
There's a difference in 10 fights. Those 10 fights that I fought, not many have fought, and I have enough experience bringing my amateur background, fighting all the Olympians and world champions, and I beat all of them. And now in the pros, I debuted against Hernandez, who's still beating up all the prospects. I fought Walker. I fought Michel Soro, who's one of the best 154-pounders in the world still. So it's a little bit different experience. Yes, Crawford is great, but I also have experience behind me.
You train you're from Uzbekistan.
Yes.
But you train right down the street in Indio, California. Does this feel like a home game for you in this fight?
Yes, exactly. We are the 6th year in California training camp. We are team. We are family. Joel Diaz, Antonio Diaz, Benjamin Hernandez, Oleg Frolov. We are the team. We are the family. Because here, my second home.
Only having 10 professional boxing matches, though, I have to ask, do you think that the timing is right for this fight against Terence Crawford, someone who's been virtually unstoppable his entire career, multi-division champion? Is this too soon, or is this right on time for you?
Yes. When?
When?
When is the right time?
I love it.
Yeah.
Are you asking me? I'm going to tell you when? I don't know.
Just saying when, if not now.
The time is now. Israel, good luck. It's going to be a great event on August 3rd, Los Angeles. Amazing opportunity for you, an amazing fight at 154 pounds. We appreciate you stopping by here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll see Israel back on August 3rd. And look, this is going to be just a massive event in Los Angeles. Sean, you look at the top of the bill, Terence Crawford against Madrimov, but you go all the way down to the bottom, and you have the kind of fights that could headline shows of their own, big and small. Andy Ruiz against Jarrell Miller, that could headline here in New York City. David Morrell, he has been headlining some recent shows.
You just need those 5 fights. You don't need to start a fight night, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. All you need is those 5 fights right there. Whoever paid the ticket to watch the boxing matches, whoever buys the pay-per-view, they're getting more than they deserve, okay? Forget more than you want. You get more than you deserve with that card right there. I mean, top to bottom, I love the the Jose Valenzuela, Isaac Cruz fight. I love seeing Andy Ruiz get in the ring with Jarrell Miller. Top to bottom, I mean, the card's beautiful.
I'm a sucker for heavyweights, and the Andy Ruiz-Jarrell Miller fight reminds me a little bit of the Deontay Wilder Zheli Zhang fight, because it is a crossroads fight, right? Yes. We talked earlier about...
All right, let's talk about it. Welcome to the show. We're going to go through all of these fights on this excellent Saudi-funded card promoted by Matchroom Boxing. It's going to be August the 3rd in L.A. in the BMO. I actually looked up the arena or the stadium they're going to be fighting at. Where's it at? This is where they're going to be fighting. In the BMO Stadium in L.A. Is this new? When was this built? It was opened in 2018. How come I never heard of this place before? So here's where they're going to be fighting. Beautiful looking venue. As you can see, it's a soccer stadium. I don't watch no damn soccer. But that's where they're going to be fighting. Beautiful card here, as you can see. We're going to start previewing the fights, and first we're going to start with the introductions of the fighters. And basically, I watched this whole press conference for 2 hours, so you didn't have to. You know, that's what I did. And I'm gonna get you only the good stuff. By the way, here's what Eddie had to say.
Seen it with Terence Crawford in due course. I've dropped that one. You know it's coming. And, you know, Canelo Alvarez, we've seen it with AJ, Fury, Alexander Usyk. You're going to see all of these fighters in the kingdom real soon.
All right. Well, we're going to see a bunch of fighters over there in the future. For now, let's talk about this press conference. Let's get it underway and throw it up to the Hall of Famer, Mr. Michael Buffer.
Let's see, where are we at? There we go.
Pennsylvania, the Olympic gold medal champion, undefeated as a professional in 3 fights, 3-0, Andy Dynamite Cruz. Andy Cruz, Olympic gold medal champion, 3-0 as a pro. His opponent, Antonio Moran, is not here, but let's give Andy a round of applause. It's going to be a great night in Los Angeles, August 3rd.
Andy Cruz is fighting Antonio Moran.
Next up, fighting for the vacant WBA light heavyweight world championship against Radivoje Kalajdzic. And he's not here. Please welcome super middleweight world champion David Morrell.
By the way, I want to give you some news. The Saudis have seemingly entered into a partnership. Well, they have a partnership now with the WBA. It was announced during this press conference. What that means to me is the Saudis are going to be funding the WBA. That's what it means to me. I won't be surprised if they outright purchase them. So it makes more sense now why Charlo and Haymon and his team couldn't stop the Crawford Madrimov fight. Remember, they tried to come in and stop it because Charlo, wanted to be the mandatory or whatever. He's not a champion in recess. He has to fight the winner. Well, he can fight the winner, but they couldn't stop this. There was David Morrell.
David Morrell.
That man was the last PBC show on Showtime, that card.
Thank you, David.
Another PBC fighter fighting for Eddie Hearn's Saudi card.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the heavyweight division. The big boys are in the house. From Brooklyn, New York, his record stands
It's Vergil Ortiz, not no damn Victor Ortiz.
22 big wins by knockout, 1 defeat, 1 draw. Jarrell, Big Baby Miller.
Jarrell Miller was sued by his promoter, Salida. We're going to listen to that for $5 million.
Brooklyn's in the house, Jarrell. Good to see you. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of California, USA, an outstanding professional record consisting of 35 victories, 22 big wins by knockout, only 1 defeat with 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, former heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Destroyer Ruiz.
Y'all think Andy on Ozempic?
Andy Ruiz. He shocked the world his last time
He looks
here
good.
in New York. Let's see if he can do it again in California.
Andy looked good. Another PBC fighter
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have another world title bout on this card.
By the way, all of these fighters are advised by Al Haymon still.
challenger, originally fighting out of Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, now living, training, and fighting out of Seattle, Washington, USA. His record stands at 13 victories, 9 wins by knockout, only 2 defeats. Jose Valenzuela.
Another PBC fighter who was scheduled to fight June the 15th, or was about to be scheduled to fight June the 15th against Edwin De Los Santos.
More like a professional model than a fighter right now, Jose. You look
on the undercard of Tank Davis versus Frank Martin.
Now
he's fighting Isaac Cruz, moving up.
The defending champion comes to us originally from Ciudad de Mexico, and his record stands at 26 victories, 18 of those 26 by KO, only 2 defeats with 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning defending WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Isaac Pitbull Cruz.
Bit of a distasteful joke here, me being a little bit immature. But don't Isaac Cruz look like, look at his head. Don't he look like the head? Don't he like this thing? The legend of the hidden temple head?
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, let me throw it over to our host for the press conference, Mr. Ade Oladipo.
That's not Isaac Cruz. This thing.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very, very much. Welcome, everyone, to Gotham Hall in New York.
So, all right. I'm going to be skipping through this because you don't want to hear all this. You want to hear the good stuff. So let's go ahead and start with, let's see here. By the way, Chris de Blasio is now working with Salida Promotions. He used to work for Showtime right under Steven Espinoza. Let me see. Who we're going to listen to first?
A lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters.
By the way, take your time out. Like the video, subscribe.
Unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Ruiz. Andy, with these events in Saudi, everyone's been continually asking me, where's Andy Ruiz? All the other heavyweights were there, you weren't there. You're back now. Is the aim, obviously, if you get past Jarrell Miller, to go again for a world heavyweight title?
Yes, sir. I'm just super happy to be back, man. I spent a year and 8 months not doing nothing, and a lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters, you know, life. But I'm glad that God gave me another opportunity. Everybody that's involved in this big, amazing card in August 3rd in Los Angeles, I thank them so much too. And I'm ready to rock and roll, man. August 3rd is going to be the return of Andy Ruiz, and the consistent Andy Ruiz, the focused Andy Ruiz, and I just can't wait to get back in there.
What type of challenge do you think Jarrell Miller brings to the table?
Jarrell brings a lot of challenges, you know. He's big. He likes to smother his opponents. He likes to bang it out in there. He's not an easy opponent. He's not just a guy that I'm going to walk him out and win easy. I got to stay focused. I got to be prepared, and I got to do what I do best and win my fights.
Let's welcome in big baby Jarrell Miller. Jarrell, this is your city.
Big Baby Miller's going to have some very interesting things to say. So the card is going to open up. We don't know if it's pay-per-view or not. With Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Then it's looking like it's going to be Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller. Just the second fight on the card. That's what it's looking like. But we don't know the official running order yet, but it's a very stacked card. I'm wondering what the pay-per-view is going to be, but it's going to be in this stadium here, the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, which seats up to 22,000 for a soccer game. Here's the venue right here. So I apologize if I keep repeating the same thing. So let's go listen to what Big Baby Miller has to say. We're going to talk about the fight, and give my predictions. And we're going to do that for each of the fights leading up to the main event. So I'm going to make sure I'm not long-winded, wasting your time, and we're going to make sure we run through things. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Like the video.
We're in New York. Jarrell, obviously, look, defeat last time out against Daniel Dubois. How has that changed you mentally and preparation for this one?
I mean, there's so much that was going on before that fight, and just having 3.5 full weeks to prepare for Daniel Dubois was not the ideal moment, but I took a chance because I know it put me back into the position I wanted to be in. It was a great card. Shout out to Turkey, His Excellency, and all my brothers out there. Assalamu alaikum. You know, it was a lot of BS going on around that fight. You know, signing a contract, finally signing a contract 2 weeks before the fight. You know, my own co-promoter, Sleeters, suing me for $5 million for two weeks before the fight. You know, couldn't get camp together, couldn't get training funds together. It was a lot of BS. And, you know, as a fighter, we're risking our life in there, you know, and we just want to focus on do our job. And then when you have people in your back that's constantly, you know, nagging you and aching you, it's hard to do that job, you know. And like I said, you know, I had Dubois out of there, but mentally I just clocked out in the 5th or 6th round. You know, Dubois didn't hurt me. You know, he didn't beat me, I beat myself. And even Turkey said it to me after the fight. He's like, I want you back. You know, Dubois didn't beat you. You beat yourself. And it hurts because I'm a person that wears my pride on my shoulders. You know, I come to kill, I come to hurt, I come to fight, you know, and for me to go out that way is not cool. You know, so coming with this fight now, I have more than enough time to prepare, you know, and the difference between that fight and this fight is I have time to prepare. You know, if you watch any one of my fights on my track record beside Dubois, either I knock you out or I dominate and I beat your ass, you know. So with this fight, I have time to prepare, you know, and they called me about the Andy fight, and I was like, oh, gee, that's one of the bros, you know. So, you know, I picked the phone up, you know, so they called me, and I called Andy, and I said, you know, Brody, I'm like, yo, do I have permission to kick your butt? You know, and he's like, he's like, man, you know, listen, man, I want to fight, man. I want to fight bad. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You know, let's two brothers go in there, we bang it out, man. And, you know, it's nothing but love. It's no animosity between me and Andy. It's just business, you know. And I told him no matter what happens after fight night, you're still taking me fishing, bro. So I don't want to hear that. But, like I said, this is boxing, man. And it's a great card to be on. You know, I can't wait to go in there and just do what I do best, man, and that's kick ass, you know. And you know, this is my last fight with Sleater Promotions, and we're gonna keep it cordial, we're gonna keep it respectful, and we're gonna get the job done, you know. And after that, you know, me and Eddie gonna go out for a pint, you know. But like I said, man, it's great to be home. Great to see my friends and family out here in New York City. But at the same time, you got to keep things in aspect when it comes to boxing and the politics. You know, even though we're doing a press conference in New York, you know, we're doing a fight in LA, which is Andy Ruiz's background, you know, his hometown. So, you know, I'm gonna be fighting not just him that night. So I'm going in there. I'm motivated. Looking at a couple options in training camp right now. I'm not gonna say where exactly, but best believe this. I'm going to kill myself in camp. I'm not no journeyman. I'm not no mother effing stepping stone. I come to seek and destroy and hurt things. So I can't wait for August 3rd. And thank you guys for tuning in and showing up. There's no shit talking today, guys. I'm sorry. You know, there's not that kind of opponent. You know. We have time. There's still a few months left. I mean, listen. I don't know, man. I gotta figure out a punchline or something. I don't know. Maybe it's like the battle of fast food, Nikito Taco Bell versus the Burger King. You know what I mean? So, you know,
that's a good start.
Best man wins, you know. But like I said, man, it's nothing but love, man. It's awesome. I think me and him is gonna have fun. You know, I think we're gonna feel each other out the first round or two. And you know, that's how sometimes fights start. But the minute he punched me and I punched him, all that shit go out the door, you know. So, like I said, it's gonna be a fun fight, and I can't wait. You know what I mean? And it's great. And be right back where I'm supposed to be, and it's gonna put us right back in the top 3, top 2, and big opportunities to come. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic fight. I think everyone excited about that one. Yeah. Eddie, a bit of a surreal moment for you in the middle. Obviously, Andy Ruiz fought AJ. It was supposed to be Jarrell Miller fighting AJ right here in New York. This must feel strange to be in between both of them.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, look, Jarrell Miller was supposed to fight AJ. Obviously, you know, that fight didn't take place. Andy Cruz slid in my DMs. He got the chance of a lifetime and broke our hearts. Broke our hearts at Madison Square Garden. You know, we got the win in Riyadh, but, you know, it was an amazing mix between these two. And a great fight. You know, I have to take my hat off to Andy Ruiz because this is really a comeback fight. And to take Jarrell Miller as a comeback fight is a dangerous, dangerous move. So, two great characters, you know, and two great, strong heavyweights. Andy Ruiz needs to get back in this game, and to do it in Los Angeles in front of 22,000 people, it's going to be a brilliant fight.
Yeah, so many fantastic fighters on this card. One of the best, without a shadow of a doubt, is David Morell, who has been...
So let's talk about this fight. Big Baby Miller, for those who don't know, he got stopped in the last round. Hey, let's go look at it. In the last round against Daniel Dubois. Andrew Ruiz hasn't fought. He's been outrageously inactive. Many will say he's been pricing himself out. Also kind of like stuck until now under the PBC banner, not actually able to take fights out. Of PBC. 35-2 with 22 KOs. Last fight was against Luis Ortiz. Went 12 rounds. That was a nice little fun fight. By the way, Luis Ortiz is looking at fights outside of PBC too. He's trying to fight Jared Miller over on Jared Anderson, excuse me, over on Top Rank. Luis Ortiz, that was in September of 2022. So by the time he steps into the ring, he'll be 1 month shy of a 2-year layoff. Also, he's been having some personal issues. I don't know if it's still going on, but he was going through a divorce. He brought that big old mansion. Andy Ruiz seemed like to me sometimes like one of them type of fighters that he'll have a big ass mansion, but then got dog shit all over the place. Before that, he fought Chris Arreola after another layoff. What was that, about 15 months between Chris Arreola? And this was Chris Arreola, by the way. And they put that shit on pay-per-view. They did that to us. And then, of course, that loss to Anthony Joshua, where he came in, as you can see, the first fight, 268. The second fight, 283, and he was at a career low, nearly a career low, 256 against Arreola. But overall, as you can look at the face-off here, let me pull it up. Where we at? He's been looking good. He's been looking good. Keeping the weight down. I mean, look how much bigger Big Baby Miller is to him. And it's no secret. We can talk about it. Big Baby Miller was busted with some big-time drugs, PEDs. Like shit that you can't deny, that you can't say, oh, it was my water was tainted. Somebody tainted my Gatorade. Then he tried to say something, earmuffs for the kids, earmuffs. Then he tried to say like it was like big dick pills or something, and it was something that he took, like he was just bro. But overall, look, Andy looks small. So of course he has a relationship with the Saudis, obviously, because the second fight with Joshua happened in Saudi Arabia, and a lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. They were like, remember that time when they was like, we was hearing like, yeah, they're going to build a stadium in the desert, and people like, yeah, right. How they going to do that? Sure enough, they did it, and now look at them. The same organization. Riyadh season. Shout out to big homie Turkey Al Sheikh. They're now taking over American boxing. So who do I think is going to win this fight? You know what? Let me go look in. Let's go look at the highlight of him getting knocked out, Big Baby Miller. Did I tell y'all the story one time? I am at Joe Smith versus Jesse Hart. I interviewed Clarissa Shields that night, by the way. This is in Atlantic City. So I see like, you ever have a feeling like somebody's staring at you? Like staring at you? So leading up to I was at Joshua Ruiz, the first one, by the way. I was there as media. Then also, the scandal where Big Baby Miller got popped dirty, Andy Ruiz stepped in, Kornowski turned down the fight, horrible career decision. So anyway, I was doing a string of videos like, yo, you broke my heart, drug cheat, like that type content. Content I probably wouldn't do today. But I was pissed off because I was rooting for Big Baby Miller to beat Anthony Joshua. I thought that he could. So when I found out he popped dirty, and he has a history. And I was like, you son of a bitch. So I was doing videos, ranting and cussing, and I was like, drug cheat, tried to lie to us, and just pissed off. So anyway, I'm at this event, he shows up, and don't you know, I'm interviewing somebody, I forgot who I was interviewing, and I turn around and I'm like, is this motherfucker staring at me like he gonna do something to me? And I'm not gonna sit there and scrap with no Big Baby Miller. I will pick something up and knock you upside your motherfucking head. I'm not going to sit there and try to square up with that motherfucker. It's not my fault. You failed to, hold on, Big Baby Miller getting knocked out. Hold on, I'm typing in. It's not my fault you failed the test, nigga. Keep your piss clean. Stay away from the needles. But anyway, yeah, so I guess it's been bad blood since then. By the way, he got arrested, right? Big Baby Miller. Hold up. I'm trying to figure out. Let me see here. I'm trying to find the. Hold on. I'm trying to find the Dubois putting his dick in the dirt. Big Baby Miller. Stop. There we go. So anyway, you got to be careful when you're searching Twitter these days because you never know when porn's going to pop up. So that's why I don't do it on screen. Like, it's degenerate cesspool. One time I was scrolling Twitter looking for something, and I got a stream destroyed because a whole big ass dick was on there. So Twitter's got to get it together. So anyway, see, look at this, 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 look at this. So anyway, he fought Daniel Dubois, slowed down leg, and you know, Big Baby Miller, he's known for his endurance. Like, for him to be constantly gaining weight before he popped dirty. Before he popped dirty, he was moving. Like, remember, he used to be a big time mover, like juggernaut Joe Joyce. Like, walk you down, dominate you, get you up out of there. But you've been seeing a difference since he popped dirty. You've been seeing a difference. I watched and covered this nasty fight. So remember, he had that big drug testing, that big drug bust when he got caught. He fought Borjandino. He was 315, but he was ballooning up in weight, as you can see. And he was like getting like faster. So when he comes back, 341 against this Ariel Esteban Bracamonte. I covered this guy before. I'm a degenerate. He was 341, looked like shit. Derek Cardenas, even though he stopped him, looked like shit. Lucas Brown looked like shit. Matt Daniel Dubois didn't look good and got stopped in the last round. So he's saying it's because he was sued for $5 million by Salida. It was only 2 weeks to prepare for the fight. He had to take it. Okay, all right, cool. I understand that. But if he keep his bloodstream and his piss clean, then people ain't gonna be slaughtering him on social media. I ain't scared of you, man. But anyway, to be very honest, he's very dangerous for Andy Ruiz. He is the pressure fighter in this fight, but who is the bigger puncher? That's what it's going to come down to. Andy Ruiz is fast. He can hit you with some fast shit real quick. Like, I really like this fight. You know, my gut is telling me Andy Ruiz. Even though they're both big guys, he's the more technically sound. Andy Ruiz don't get a lot of credit. Like, dude's got some fast hands. And one thing about Andy Ruiz, for his size, he does not gas out no matter how fat he get. So he's got an engine. And, you know, we've seen Big Baby Miller, you know, he's not really technically sound. He's more of like a bruiser, you know, come straight forward type of guy. I just don't think he can do it. But also, he looks in much better shape, as I said, you know. Where we at? Both of them. Like, he don't look like a flab anymore. He's saying he's going to kill himself in camp, but he was looking like ridiculous. By the way, he got arrested. Here, let me pull that clip up. For trying to steal his own car back or something. Some old crazy shit. Let me see. But yeah, he looks good. Let's see here. Yeah, he was booked. Let's go watch the clip. I'm glad he got that sorted out. But yeah, he had lost a lot of money. Because remember, he signed with Top Rank. Those drug tests really did him dirty. Remember, at one point in time,
also here at 5, a professional heavyweight boxer busted in South Florida. Police say he got physical with a car dealership employee. According to cops, he put that person in a chokehold.
Now he finds himself in a fight with the law. 7's Maricela Burgos is at that Hollywood dealership.
Y'all hear this shit?
What occurred there? Maricela.
Y'all remember this? That's him, booked. This was shortly after his fight. So I'm guessing the money didn't come yet. But this was shortly after he lost to Daniel Dubois. So I'm guessing his truck got repoed. He went to go take it back. Probably told him, yo, I got the bread. I got the money. I'm just waiting for the check. And they like, nah, you ain't been paying. We've been waiting for you. And they bootleg and they towed that shit.
Dealership employee.
So here, listen in.
In South Florida, police say he got physical with a car dealership employee. According to cops, he put that person in a chokehold.
That ain't right.
He finds himself in a fight with the law. 7's Maricela Burgos is at that Hollywood dealership with what occurred there. Maricela.
Craig and I talked to that employee off camera. He says he will continue to pursue charges against this boxer because of what he says he did to him at his place of business. Professional boxer Jarrell Miller is accused of taking cause. Hollywood police officers are charged with carjacking without firearm on Tuesday. You are charged with carjacking without firearm or weapon, burglary with assault. The court finds probable cause. Hollywood police officers arrested Miller after they say he attacked an employee and then stole a black Dodge Ram from Himes Motors.
It is alleged that Mr. Miller first put the victim in a chokehold, then slammed him to the ground before robbing him, who was doing nothing other than his job.
According to authorities, a woman claims she left her phone in the truck, which the dealership had repossessed, and that's when they say Miller came up from behind demanding the keys.
He enlisted the assistance of another individual to create a ruse to distract the employee so that Mr. Miller could attack him from behind and choke him while he was trying to assist this woman in getting her phone that she advised was left in the vehicle.
In court, the state argued he planned this.
It would appear that Mr. Miller, he knew what the plan was going to this business to get his car back. It would appear by any means.
The defense argued there wasn't enough probable cause there for the two charges against him.
I think at best the state would have here a grand theft and a misdemeanor battery instead of those two charges.
The judge disagreed.
Taking into account the allegations in the probable cause affidavit, the level of force that was used, as well as the manner in which the offense took place, the court does find probable cause as to both counts.
Sheesh. But yeah, so he's been having a hard time. And remember, like he's had a real rough several years after popping dirty. He's lost millions, maybe $15+ million. And as you can see, he was having issues because his car got repossessed. He goes to the dealership trying to use a girl or whoever to distract so he can steal the car back, and then roughs up the poor old car dealership person. That person's just doing their job, man. Can't be choking people out. But I hope he gets it together because he does have charisma. He can fight. I'm not sure if he can be a world champion, especially at this stage in his career. But if you don't know, I was picking him. I thought that he could beat Anthony Joshua. So, Big Baby Miller, you shouldn't be mad at me. I'm mad at you. You broke my heart, and I'm still healing. But yeah, Andy Ruiz, Big Baby Miller, great fight. I'm picking Andy Ruiz Jr. But the layoff, yes, is a concern. And let's listen to Andy Ruiz's post-press conference interview, and he'll talk more about what's been going on. I don't think they talked to, where's he at? By the way,
Thank you, Ade. Great stuff. WBA getting involved. Great cause there.
The WBA is now in cahoots with the Saudis.
Moments away from the main portion of this press conference. Terence Crawford, Israil Madrimov. Phenomenal fight. Phenomenal fight on the undercard, and one of the men on it is standing here right next to us now. Andy Ruiz, the former unified As I mentioned, Andy Ruiz, the former unified heavyweight champion, joining us here on stage right now. Andy, good to have you back, man. It's been a while. You've been kind of out there in the wilderness, wondered if you were going to be back in the ring, but here you are, back in a big fight, back on a big card.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. And it's been a long time. It's been a year and 8 months. I haven't been active. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters, a lot of things that people go through in life. But guess what? We're here. We're ready. We're mentally ready. We're mentally focused and ready to win on August the 3rd.
There's something poetic, Andy, about you facing Jarrell Miller.
Yeah.
You know, Jarrell Miller scheduled to fight Anthony Joshua back in 2019, your professional career. Do you think about that? Like, you know, this is the guy that I replaced that night.
I do think about that, and it is kind of weird, but guess what? Things happen for a reason, and I feel this is the right step for me. I think this is the right opponent for me. I didn't want to pick just anybody that they don't know who the opponent is. I wanted somebody that was strong and that was just got done fighting. So I'm really excited for this fight. And after I get this victory, me and him are going to go share some cheeseburgers or something.
It's been a long time since we have seen Jarrell Miller so cordial with an opponent. No trash talk up there on stage. Have you guys been friendly for a while?
Yeah, somewhat. Of course, we have respect for each other. I mean, I respect every fighter in there because we all risk our lives in there. We all risk our lives to feed our loved ones, our family, our kids. But once we're inside that ring, no way, we're not friends. We're not anything. We got to turn on the switch and get back to action.
I'm going to ask, it's one thing to have the press conference, the announcement of this fight. I know you've known about this fight for some time. Have you been preparing for this fight and the last fight that he just had against Daniel Dubois? Tell us how you felt about that fight.
Yes, I was there actually in front row. I was actually cheering for him. I was actually telling him to do something different.
Did he do it?
No, he was actually tired. He got tired. You know, there's so many things that us fighters go through that people don't know. So we don't know what really happened to him. But I'm happy he's going to get 3.5 months to get focused and train to fight me because he's going to need it. And so am I because I haven't been in the game for a while. But best believe I'm going to give it all I got and to get that victory.
And in just a few weeks' time, we're going to see heavyweight king crowned when Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury take on each other for the undisputed championship. You are the former unified champion in this division. What do you think of the landscape of it right now and how it looks?
I think right now it's wide open, man. Right now, the heavyweight division is is booming right now. It's really booming. We're just waiting for Tyson Fury and Usyk to see who's going to win. Maybe it could open up more doors for more heavyweights. And the main thing, I just want to get my belts back, man. And I regret that day when I fought in Saudi Arabia where I did not do the things that I was supposed to do. But trust me on this one when I say I'm going to do everything that I can to get those things back, to get the belts back, and to stay champion because I know exactly what I did wrong and I know exactly what I should have been doing right. And now it's a lot of, like I said, man, I've been through so many roller coasters. And I believe that this is going to be my chance and I got to take advantage of it.
Last time you were in Saudi Arabia, you took that loss to Anthony Joshua. If you get invited back for a third fight with AJ, is that something that interests you?
Yes, of course, man. That's exactly what I've been dreaming about. I won him, he won me. I mean, it's only fair for him to give me one more chance. And in Saudi Arabia, that would be a perfect, extremely good fight over there. But what do I got to do? I got to climb up the ladders. I got to get back in action. I got to be my opponent. I don't want to, how do you say it? I don't want to think that it's going to be easy, an easy route. I can't underestimate him. I got to train hard, but best believe I'm going to get this victory.
Well, Andy, great to have you back. Great to have you part of this big card on August 3rd in Los Angeles. Introduce more members of the card. Let's throw it back to Michael.
Oh, before we talk about the next fight on the card, Andy Ruiz is not exempt. I remember this shit. I followed this shit on social media. He's not exempt. He was having some issues. Andy Ruiz's ex-girlfriend gets permanent restraining order against him after allegations ex-heavyweight boxing champion pulled an AK-47 in her face and assaulted her. Now, I gotta be honest. In this day and age, when you read headlines like that, me personally, from my side, from experience, women can lie their asses off. I'm not saying this is the case. But when I read a headline like that, I'm not condemning the person. I'm like, you know what? Nope. Look at Amber Turd. Shit in that man's bed. Destroyed that man. He was Jack Sparrow. He'll never be a pirate again thanks to that Jezebel. But yeah, his ex-girlfriend. And she posted some stuff too. Called him a slob. She threw all his stuff out the crib. Average woman shit. Threw his stuff out the crib. Permanent restraining order. But look like they back. Look, they cool now. This was March the 17th. I'm guessing they cool. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what I was talking about.
So, my Twitter got hacked by this bitch that I know. And she's just mad. She's mad because I'm happy. She's mad because I'm with my girl. She's mad. But I didn't post anything, I didn't post anything that... Sorry, I cut up. What happened with Fury? And Fury, I don't know. He's saying that I wanted too much money $20 million. What the fuck? Se quiere quedar con todo. You can't be greedy in this sport. Y tampoco you can't be asking for too much, but we're trying to stay.
Yeah, you know, that was a thing that was going around about Ruiz, that he priced himself out the Deontay Wilder fight, a Tyson Fury fight, and there was another fight I heard he priced himself out of. But yeah, this is a good fight for both of them. They need it, and I guess you can say somewhat of a must-win, because Big Baby Miller says he doesn't want to go on to be a journeyman. Well, if he loses, I'm not saying he'll be a journeyman, but, you know, he's definitely going to be deeper down in the card this time. So, all right, what's the next fight we're going to talk about? Let's go listen to Isaac Cruz and Rayo. David Morrell is going to be taking on Hot Rod. I always butchered his name, and I've covered him in many fights before. He just fought on Pro Box TV. When was this, real quick? Hold on. He just fought on Pro Box a couple of weeks ago. Was it? Not even 2 weeks ago. He wasn't here today. 29-2, 21 KOs, 32-year-old. He fought Sullivan Barrera. There we go. That was a month ago. Shit, I thought I would beat the shit out of Sullivan Barrera too. Like knocked him out like big time on Pro Box. You can watch that on YouTube. I covered this Artur Beterbiev fight, and it was another fight of his I covered, Marcus Brown. I've been doing this shit way too long. In fact, I think I was at this Marcus Brown fight. What card was this? I was here, wasn't I? I was here. I was at this fight. I was at Spence Algieri. Oh, this is the arena they're going to be fighting in, by the way. So, David Morrell is now moving up to 175 pounds, pretty much saying that he's chasing David Benavidez up there. And all the big fights for him are going to be at that weight. Here, let me let him say what he's going to say.
Long time, unable to get the big fights, moving up to 175 pounds now. Why the move to 175? Is it just because right now the 168 division is locked in?
I'm coming for 175 because and anybody no secret for nothing, like anybody wants to TSK me, you know. So I'm waiting for 175 for this. Like I don't follow Benavidez too, you know. Like everything's possible, like for everybody here, you know. For Al Haymon, like this guy, thanks him, thanks Turkey, like for the opportunity, like for here, you know. I'm here in New York. Yeah, I mean. It's crazy, but like
No, your English is good.
My bad. Respondiendo a tu pregunta, o sea, estamos en camino a los 75 por eso, you know.
Who's translating that?
Yeah, he's saying, you know, he's going up to 175 to 168. We tried every guy in the top division. Nobody wanted to fight him. It looks like everybody, all the fights are going to be at 75 now. They'll be out, and Bivol, Benavidez going up in weight, and with Morell, I think they're all going to end up fighting each other. That's the reason I got to thank Turkey for making this happen, Dr. Khan, you know, for making the best fights. You know, it would never happen if this wouldn't have happened. So I'm very proud to be here at this table and for to make something great like this happen.
Good luck on August 3rd. David Morrell. I want to speak to this man right at the end there. One of the most skillful.
So, he's vacating his title at 168 pounds because he said nobody wants to fight him. And of course, Canelo's not going to fight him. And now Edgar Berlanga is the mandatory for the WBA for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez taking on Jaime Munguia next week. That's next week. That's here. And it's looking like if Canelo wins, he'll be fighting Berlanga in September. But whatever happened, what the hell happened to Devin Haney this weekend, I'm not counting Jaime Munguia out. I'm not saying he's going to beat Canelo. I'm not dare going to say that. Yeah, I know, right? His manager, senior, he was saying what he wanted to say. Morell didn't say all that, but basically, yes, he's moving up. He's moved up, and now that he's aligned with the Saudis, what I've learned about this is there's a pattern. When you fight for the Saudis once, they're not just signing you for one fight deals. So I wonder how many deals, how many fights Morell has. So in reality, this is inching him closer. He's much closer to getting a big fight with the Bivol Bertabiev winner than David Benavidez, because they're on the same stable. They're fighting on in June on a Saudi card. So I will not be surprised if we see David Morell versus Bertabiev, Bivol winner or loser. I will not be surprised. And remember, David Benavidez is fighting as the co-feature, or it's supposed to be a double pay-per-view, but really we know Tank is the main event. Tank Davis versus Frank Martin, June the 18th. And you have David Benavidez taking on Alexander Volcik, a fight that I don't like. Volcik is not bad. He's a skilled fighter. I was there when Bertabiev beat him up in Philly. But the power of Benavidez and the pressure. And also, Volcik fades late. He has a history of that. So I'm picking David Benavidez for that fight. Let me see. Did they talk to Morell more? I don't remember. Let me check real quick. I don't think they did. There's Berlanga, but we'll talk about him a little bit later. All right, let's go talk about Isaac Cruz versus Jose Rayo Venezuela.
As a comeback fight, he's a dangerous.
Andy Cruz is on the card against Antonio Moran.
Why do you believe in him so much?
You know, I think he proved his quality.
Big opportunity against a man that a lot of people are avoiding in Isaac Cruz. Was there any hesitation in taking the fight?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank God, Al Haymon, PBC, for this great opportunity.
Thank you, Al Haymon.
And no, I was in camp already getting ready for Edwin. This big opportunity presented itself, and I took it, no questions asked. It's been a dream of mine since I was 10 to become world champion. And what better than to do it with a Mexican countryman, Isaac Cruz.
You are a 135er. You will be moving up to 140 for this one. Happy? That means you can have a couple of extra meals in the lead up to the fight, or was you always going to go to 140?
Lately, I've been eating a bit more in the gym, and I've been feeling great. More energy, more power. So, you know, I'm big for the 35 division. So I think this is the move I needed that I didn't even know.
All right, let's speak to your opponent, the Pitbull, Isaac Cruz. Firstly, Isaac, congratulations. I can see the gold right there. You're now a world champion. How does it feel to be a world champion?
Esta es tu primera vez sentado en un estrado como...
Presentarme a Al Haymon, a PBC, a Excellency Turkey, y muy agradecido.
Style of opponents over the years, and you seem to have handled them all very well. What do you make of Valenzuela as an opponent stylistically for you?
¿Cómo se siente ser un oponente como Valenzuela con su estilo?
Para eso nos vamos a preparar, para descifrar el plan de trabajo para Rayo Valenzuela y darle una gran noche a toda la gente de Los Ángeles.
I've been preparing a lot to confront him and really give a great show to all the people of Los Angeles.
Obviously, I know you and your team won't look past Valenzuela, but there are so many fighters calling you out. Devin Haney is still the WBC champion. Ryan Garcia has called you out as well. Is there a dream fight that you think of for the next year?
Devin Haney sigue siendo campeón en 140 libras, pero últimamente Ryan Garcia también te ha estado criticando. ¿Te interesa a ti una de esas peleas o tienes otra pelea en que sueñas?
A mí me gustaría hacer todo tipo de peleas con todos los grandes nombres, pero ahorita mi mente está enfocada en ganarle a Rayo Valenzuela y mi promotor Sean Gibbons se va a encargar de que se puedan dar esas grandes peleas.
I'm ready for all types of fights with all the best fighters, but right now I'm really focused on Valenzuela, and I trust my promoter Sean Gibbons to give me the best fights that I can.
Sean, you're nodding. You obviously agree. You like his answer. Again, I said at the top, you've had so many fantastic fighters. I mean, this guy you've got here, I mean, his nickname is actually very true. It's the way he fights. He is a pit bull. You must feel good that you've got something special here.
Yeah, you know, we're very blessed, very blessed that Manny Pacquiao Promotions had never worked with a Hispanic fighter before, and Isaac was the first one we signed, and we've been very, very pleased. Stylistically wise, it doesn't get more exciting than an Isaac Cruz fight.
I feel so bad throwing the question to you. I forgot about your throat. I do apologise, Sean. Look, before we face the fighters off, that is obviously not.
So I like this fight. I have to go with Isaac Cruz. However, I do feel that Rayo does. See, here's the thing: it's those two defeats. One, was by loss, and one was by decision. A lot of people, by the way, thought he won that first Colbert fight. Knocked him out in the second, like ass up, face down. So Cruz, he's on fire right now. But however, you can't really give him too much stripes for beating up on Rolly, Like, you giving him stripes for beating up on Rolly? I'm not. I can't do that. It's like, no disrespect, but it's like, Rolly has been kind of like a novelty. He's got a lot of confidence, but, a lot of people don't think he should even be in there with some of the guys that he's been fighting. Let that old man beat him up. Isaac Cruz put him down. Tank stopped him. Not to miss him. What was the fight? Marinez. He should have lost. So I am going with Isaac Cruz. It's going to be at 140, by the way. He's supposed to fight on the undercard of Tank versus Frank Martin, June the 15th. But the Saudis threw some money at him. So what it's looking like is these guys are still Al Haymon fighters. They are. They're still Al Haymon fighters, but it's looking like that Al Haymon or the Saudis have made the pot too sweet and have what do you mean video's not available? Hold on, let me see what's going on here. That made the pot too sweet that Haymon has to let these guys go. And these guys don't just have Haymon as the manager, as the advisor. They have managers and handlers too. So that's what I'm thinking. Is like he's been making these offers, and Al Haymon is just like look, and the manager's like, look, they offering way too much money to turn this down. Because I would have never thought they would let Isaac Cruz go. But the money's just been too good to turn down. And it's also a bad look. The fact that Rayo was going to fight on a June card, now fighting in a higher weight on this card 2 months later, something's not going right over at PBC. Look at all these fighters all of a sudden, just like, nope, we're out of here. But I think that Al Haymon should have been doing this, like lending his fighters out. I understand that maybe been legal reasons why he couldn't do it because the fighters' contracts are assets, but I think he should have been lending his fighters out. Instead, what was he doing? Having them being inactive and can't take fights anywhere else. That was kind of messed up. By the way, let's see these fighters face off. So, I'm picking. I can't confidently pick Rayo. He's got the power though in the pop, and we know Isaac Cruz is not the most swift defensively. He does have that. I do not have any interest for Canelo versus Berlanga, but they're going to give it to us. He's now Canelo's mandatory. And the WBA are now in cahoots with the Saudis. One thing we can rely on, though, the Saudis may bring us Canelo versus Crawford if they both win, and they could bring us possibly Canelo versus Benavidez. So that's the positive, is that they want to bring us these big fights, and they're throwing this money around. And as you can see, they're making their debut now here in the United States. They're not messing around, and they're using Eddie Hearn as the promoter, and Queensberry too, because as you can see, they're on the banner back there. So the money that they're throwing around, these fighters would be foolish not to take it. If the Saudis come calling, you better take this money while it's here. You've been seeing how boxing's been going. We'll have a good year, then a fucked up year, 2 good years, then 2 bad years. So I really thought it was distasteful for Tank to do what he did. I'm not saying that the Saudis are going to take it too personally, but he pretty much insulted them. And it's like, bro, you're over there on what's looking like a sinking ship with PBC. And by the way, I still have no interest in seeing. How do y'all feel about Isaac Cruz Tank 2? I just don't feel it yet. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good fight. I'm not saying I won't watch it. I'm not saying it won't be an exciting fight and people won't be hyped, but I'm just not feeling that fight. Frank Martin is intriguing, but I still got Tank Davis. What's going on here? Why is everything freezing? I just upped my internet speed. I got the gigabytes now, or whatever you call it. But yeah, you know, it'd be great if Rayo pulls it off. That'd be a big time upset, right? I wonder what the betting odds, I don't gamble, but I'm just saying I wonder what the betting odds are going to be. So breaking down on 140-pound division, you got Isaac Cruz, the WBA champion. Ryan Garcia is at 147, and we can't really count him. Devin Haney gets to keep his WBC title. Teofimo Lopez has been linked to the Steve Claggett. Hopefully that's not the case. Israil Madrimov is taking on Liam Paro in a fight that's now a lot more important, because now Devin Haney, we don't know, like, I'm going to do a whole different video on that situation. I got to wrap that up, but we don't know. Now people saying, oh, Isaac Cruz can beat Devin Haney. Israil Madrimov can beat Devin Haney. Teofimo can beat him. So that type of woman, that whooping, that he took, it makes him look real vulnerable. He's got to come back real strong. You know, real strong. So where do I rank Isaac Cruz? Like at the top? See, here's the thing. Do you think Isaac Cruz can beat Teofimo? I don't. I think that he's way too small for Teofimo. Israil Madrimov, you know, he's had some shaky moments, but his power is legit. He touches you, you're going to have some problems. Liam Paro is a wild card behind him, a question mark. And don't forget, Big Bad Sean McComb is now in the mix. After getting that robbery in New York, you know, that city is just riddled with crime. Of course he got robbed in New York, in Brooklyn, against Arnold Barboza. So Sean McComb is now in the mix. Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is just, I don't know what he's still doing in that division. But I have no real interest for that either. I think that's one of them rematches that's a little bit too late. I feel the same thing kind of about like Joshua Andy Ruiz. I think a third fight with that is just a little bit past his date. So anyway, I'm not confident to say that Isaac Cruz is the best 140-pounder right now. I'm not confident. I think I'm giving it to Teofimo. But see, it depends on what Teofimo shows up. You know, a bit of a head case. So he can have a bad night where he's questioning himself. He can have a night like he had where he looked real good in his last fight, but then he start talking like the Ultimate Warrior, just start like saying just random ass shit. And this old man, let me be honest, this old man, it depends on how high you ranked Rolly and O'Hara Davies. What I'm saying is, no disrespect to my the elder here, but I don't give no clout to Ishmael Barroso. And I wouldn't dare disrespect Devin Haney and say he can beat him. Devin Haney could probably fight Sandor Martin next, by the way. We don't know if his jaw's broken. He says it's not, but we haven't seen that, man. I think that shit's broken. Personally. I would never give, this is the first time I actually read the chat this whole stream, and I get from a Nick Lewis, you never would give credit to most PBC fighters. What are you talking about? Unlike a lot of vloggers in the YouTube boxing community, I don't have a reputation for siding with anybody. So get out of here with that propaganda, man. That's fake news. Richardson Hitchens, remember, he had a bad night against Gustavo Lemos. So we've had two fighters, Devin Haney and Richardson Hitchens, and Arnold Barboza, 3 140-pounders in the last 3 weeks have all been exposed. How about that? That's a weird ass stat. And then Rolly Romero got beat up, so I guess you can count him too. So that's 4 140-pounders that are not who we say they are, or who we thought they were, or who people thought they were. And yes, I do believe that Ryan Garcia was drunk. I just think that, like, oh shit, like this man went out there, beat the shit out of Devin Haney drunk. That's even worse for Devin Haney. Like, yo, you let this drunk not take it, and then he ain't make weight, no nothing. He come in there and beat the shit out of you. You know? Thoughts on Gary Antoine Russell versus Pitbull Cruz? I am not sold on Gary Antoine Russell. I'm not there yet. I said in his last fight, I said I just need to see something else. I was giving him like one more fight before I really made my decision. I'm not seeing it yet. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. All right, what's the next topic? Let's finish this face-off first. I forgot what the next topic was. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about the main event. Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov, because a lot of people don't seem to know who he is. They go, Isaac Cruz. Don't he remind you? I'm telling you, you ever see Legend of the Hidden Temple? Nickelodeon? Like, that's what I used to be looking like. What does he remind me of? Like, just headbutt just looked just like excruciating pain, despair. Like you got a headache for weeks. Oh, I saw that big ass gulp, Rayo. Don't get scared now. And look, Isak gonna stay. Oh. But yeah, this thing right here, like, I was like, what does he look like? And it's this thing. I used to always want to go on this show as a kid. Like, he is the most, what is it, Mayan, Aztec, Olmec looking person I've ever. He is as Hispanic Mexican as you can get. You can't get no more Mexican than this. But anyway, yeah, but shout out to Isaac Cruz though, but it depends on like what kind of how do you rate his win over Rolly? It was Rolly. I mean, Isaac Cruz is good, but I can't be like, yo, you see what he did to motherfucking Rolly? Can't do that, man. All right, what was next? Let's see. Let's go to the next topic. Oh, if you don't know, tell me what you make of this. It's only a couple of minutes, not even that. Tell me what you make of this. I got so many thoughts on this. I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to this.
Very much. At the top of the show, I did mention that partnerships are growing the sport of boxing, and I'm really happy to announce another partnership today. The WBA is honored to be partnering with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh Season to bring the fans the best fights in the sport of boxing. And the partnership proposes to show the values of this beautiful.
Oh yeah, I got time. We still got 45 minutes. Yeah, you're right. I'll put on I didn't get a chance to watch the Floyd Haney video, but yeah, we could do that on stream. But let's get through this first. We still got to talk about this, and then Crawford versus Madrimov. We're going to do a deep dive, and then we're talk about Haney Garcia, and then see what was going on with Bill Haney and Floyd. Floyd's been popping back up. Also, some news that I'm hoping everything's okay with, despite the fact that we do cover boxing, and we do have some hot takes, and we can joke around, but still, it's been Floyd said that basically Al Haymon's dealing with some family issues. So I always admired the man, despite the fact that like his fights be bullshit sometimes. We can disagree, but it is what it is. But I hope everything's all right over there. I remember Terence Crawford speaking on it when they were negotiating for the Spence fight, that basically he's been over in Ohio with his mom. And, Al Haymon's an older dude. So, it's like, your mom's still alive. Damn, bro. Like, blessings.
The WBA will be increasing the number of WBA KO Drugs Nights of Champion shows and taking them to different.
But listen to this. The WBA is now in cahoots with the Saudis. It's making me wonder if the Saudis are now going to be funding the WBA, or if they just outright brought them or purchased them and just having the WBA like control things. But listen to this, and it may give some credit to why Charlo wasn't able to stop Crawford versus Madrimov. And as you know, Crawford is a Saudi fighter. He said he's been in touch with the Saudis since 2021, even though he said 2001. But we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about this WBA situation. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy. The links are down below in the description box. But if you don't, here it is. I'll put it in the chat. Here's my Twitter. You got to watch Twitter, man. Like, and I be having porn on. Nah, let me shut up. It's too much. But here's my Twitter. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Here you go. Follow me on Twitter. And let's talk about this WBA situation.
he's loose. He's not a tight fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's slick. For me, man, it's gonna be a 50-50 fight. You know, I think that, you know, the keys for Fury has to go out there, use his weight, you know, and do what he did with
and Riyadh season.
Adi Oladipo.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. At the top of the show, I did mention that partnerships are growing the sport of boxing, and I'm really happy to announce another partnership today. The WBA is honored to be partnering with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season to bring the fans the best fights in the sport of boxing. And the partnership proposes to show the values of this beautiful sport to a new generation. The WBA will be increasing the number of WBA KO Drugs Nights and Champion shows and taking them to different parts of the world as well. And those shows will also include fighters from the WBA Future Championships program and stars of the sport in action. In addition, the WBA will be developing their academies to grow the sport globally and give opportunities to young people to fall in love with the sport again. On the stage, we have the WBA President Gilberto Jesus Mendoza and GIA CEO Mr. Faisal Barafat. Gilberto, I know you want to say a few words.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm honored to be here at this important break. You know, it's a breakthrough through the sport of boxing. As I was President Dr. Faisal, I was born and raised in the sport, and I have seen the influence that Riyadh is putting into us, like more beyond the fans, beyond everything. We're working in unity, all sanctioning bodies, all promoters working together to give the fan the best has been one of the biggest messages I've received from all the things we're looking at. As Eddie said, it's one of the greatest great cards I ever seen. We're going to have a lot of fights coming up. We're going to be able to write a new history in the sport, and we're more than pleased that we are going to be able to work in all the programs that you just have mentioned, our famous KO Drugs. We are just right now doing a program named WBA Future Champions that will give more opportunities, will give you better fighters, will give you fighters that you don't know. And we're more than pleased. You know, we're the first sanctioning body. We're the oldest one. We had a lot of champions, and we always will give opportunity to people to grow, to develop, and to be a better man through boxing. Thank you so much like a hostage? For this opportunity.
Thank you, Gilberto. Thank you very much.
But they forced him to sell.
Gilberto Jesus Mendoza, alongside the GSC of Mr. Faisal Barafat. I know you guys are going to post the photos now.
So let me tell you what this means. Not only are the Saudis now heavily invested in American boxing, having their first show August the 3rd in LA, putting on one of the most expensive shows right now, stacked undercard possibly in the last 10 years or so. Well, no, because Floyd Mayweather cards, you know, and I'm talking about like fighter purses. So no, I'm not going to say that, but basically it's a very expensive card. They've been throwing a lot of money around. And of course we know that they got the money. So now, not only are they signing up pretty much the whole heavyweight division, like, did you notice that? Did you notice they just pretty much took the entire heavyweight division? From Top Rank, fighting on their cards, Matchroom, Queensberry, PBC. As you can see, they pretty much, I'm going to say that they're funding maybe the Zone. They're funding Matchroom and Queensberry, got them working together. Look what they're doing. And now they have aligned themselves with a sanctioning body, the WBA. That's the president right there. So that's something to watch out for. Like, I really believe that they're up, like they're clearly doing it. They're after boxing. And I got to be honest, I'm glad that they're doing it, because if it wasn't for them coming in, shaking up things, where would these events be coming from? Where would the money? Fighters would still be like, the money's not there. And, you know, Andy Ruiz, these guys would still be inactive. Where would it be? I'm glad that they're doing it, because they're giving us good fights. Not all this bullshit politics. And now they even have Al Haymon fighters in the mix. And all of this, crazy as it is being run by Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren as the Saudi stateside or global boxing promotional companies. They're pretty much one promotion now. They even got the networks not involved. They got fighters pulling out from cards and fighting on this card that's later. Rayo was supposed to fight on the June 15th card. Nope, more money over here. We going over there. You got Deontay Wilder, who called Eddie Hearn a slave master plantation, now fighting on the plantation. So I'm all for what they're doing. Like, we needed this. We needed it. We needed it. Hold on, I gotta check this email. I've been trying to get these reservations. 9:30. They close at 10 o'clock. What time do they close? Hold on, I gotta make these reservations. Hold on, give me 1 minute. I'm going to a fancy steakhouse. Hang in there, give me a minute. I gotta check these hours. They close at 10:30. All right, we gotta take them. I gotta take it. We can only hold tables for 15 minutes. If you're running late, okay, yes, I will. All right, anyway, that's done. So anyway, where was I at? Oh yeah, pay attention to the WBA. That may be the reason why the WBA declined Charlo to fight Madrimov for the WBA title and said, nope, we got the contract from Crawford already. You could be the champion in recess. You can fight the winner. So let's talk about the last fight on the card. The main event. Oh, also, I'm going to do this video with Big J, actually. I've been, busy as hell, so we're supposed to pump out some content. But we're going to talk about Tszyu versus Vergil Ortiz. If Vergil Ortiz Jr. wins this weekend against Tomas Delorme, nasty fight, but I'm going to be covering it, he's going to be fighting Tszyu. So the card is going to feature Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran, Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Miller, David Morrell versus Hot Rod Kalajdzic, Isaac Cruz versus Jose Rayo Venezuela, Tszyu versus Vergil Ortiz Jr., and Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov. That is crazy. Well worth the $60, $70 they're going to charge for it. And there's a nasty rumor circulating around that, not nasty, it's actually a beautiful, I don't know why I said it. I'm saying it's nasty because I don't want to believe it. That this fight may not be on pay-per-view, but in the DAZN package. You think they would do that? Not pay-per-view. Not pay-per-view. DAZN is $27 a month, but still. That would be nuts. And I'm guessing that would be a way for them to drive people to finally download the app, because people don't download the app. What do you have DAZN for? Every time I go look into DAZN, I'd be like, why am I here? When their fights are on pay-per-view. A lot of times those fights don't be worth no $27 a month. Especially when I get Peacock for $2 a month. I get the Disney, Hulu, ESPN Plus package for $20 a month. My Netflix account is $8 because I'm like, yo, I don't care about ads, and I got too many apps. I got Shudder. It's just $8. My cable bill was $418 last month. Pay-per-views and shit, man. Anyway, great card. So now let's go to the main event. Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov is for the WBA title, the full title at 154 pounds. And the WBO interim title. So Crawford is saying basically, and this is what he said. He said, look, Fedor's got to fight me or drop the belt. And then if he does fight me, I get to fight for the WBO and the WBC. And he said, boom, that's his way of collecting all three titles. He can get the WBA if he beats Madrimov, fight Fedor. Fedor has to fight him or even drop the belt. Boom, he gets the WBO. And then if he fights Fedor, gets the WBC if he beats him. And then all that's left out there is the IBF. And I'm sure the PBC is on that. Erickson Lubin is on it. They're trying to like it's finally going to pay off for Bakhram Murtazaliev, who won a few weeks ago. against Jack Couquet to win the IBF title. He's been mandatory since like 2019. So now he was fighting. Now he's going to get a huge payday because he was fighting in dark matches. Like he was fighting on Charlo undercards, but untelevised. He's a main event Kathy Duva fighter. And that promotional company is just running on fumes. Yes, they're still around. He's the Eagles Clemens fighter. You know, manager of Lomachenko, Usyk, Kavalaskis. He's got Bert to BF too, right? Do we got Bert to BF? Is Clemens a Bert to BF? I don't know. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to skim through the press conference for Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov. I'm only going to show you the good parts. Once again, here's the spectacular undercard. Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Miller. Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Isaac Cruz versus Jose Rayo Venezuela. David Morrell versus Hot Rod Kalajdzic. Tszyu versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. If Vergil Ortiz beats Tomas Delorme this weekend, it is 3:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, April the 24th. That fight is this Saturday, the 27th, on the Zone. With Jose Ramirez fighting Francis Barthélemy ill. So I'm going to skim through the good parts. Obviously, by the way, look how world title Crawford's got some weight on him. You know, at one point in time, he was saying that he was looking to fight Canelo at 168, and I remember him posting something on his social media showing him bulking up for the weight. But look at the size of him. Oh yeah, no Diddy. I know it's immature, but no Diddy.
And of those world title fights ended with a knockout in his favor. 15 of the 17 contests. Knockout fights. Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, I'm gonna show everything. I'm gonna show the face off. I'm only going to play the quotes. Even right now, I'm only showing Crawford walking to the stage. We're gonna skim through all the mumbo jumbo and only show the good stuff. So I watched this press conference and I'm recapping everything, so you don't have to go back and watch this long ass press conference.
Universally recognized as pound for pound the best fighter in the world today. The former lightweight world champion. The former super lightweight world champion, and the reigning undisputed, undefeated welterweight champion of the world, Terence Crawford.
I gotta turn that down. That music always gets me copyrighted. But he's got some weight on him.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn it over to our host for the press conference, Mr. Ade Oladipo.
I remember it was Gilly the Kid off the Gilly and the Kid podcast said that Terence Crawford looked like after he finished boxing, he just go start fixing cars, like changing out steering columns and changing brakes and shit. He do like a mechanic. Hold on, wait. Start here what Eddie Hearn had to say. So clearly you're going to see Crawford is just fighting on the Eddie Hearn card through the Saudis, and he's not a matchroom fighter.
Israil Madrimov.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, Addy. And before we start, I think we just need to acknowledge again the event that has been announced today. Riyadh season card coming to Los Angeles, BMO Stadium, 25,000 people. It's going to be, I think, the best card top to bottom we've seen in America. His Excellency, thank you so much, Dr. Rakan. All the work that's gone on in really the last 48, 72 hours. I mean, let's take a look. This guy to my right, the pound for pound #1 in the sport. 3-division world champion. Broke our hearts in Scotland many years ago when he beat Ricky Burns. Undisputed at 140. Undisputed at 147. I think everybody now giving him the props as a generational great. The man to my left, this guy is super elite. You know, when he won the world title with ease in Riyadh, to take your first defence against Terence Crawford shows you what he's all about. I promise you this guy will bring everything to this fight. This is a very dangerous fight for Terence Crawford. I believe Bomac and the guys, they know that. And big respect to Terence. He steps straight up. He'll fight absolutely anybody. And just looking at the card once again, I think it's important to break it down, as I said. Terence Crawford against Israil Madrimov, the WBA and the WBO interim world championships. Isaac Cruz against Jose Valenzuela for the WBA 140-pound title. Jarrell Miller against Andy Ruiz back in Los Angeles. And what a fight between Tszyu and Vergil Ortiz Jr. at 154 pounds as well. David Morrell against Hot Rod for the WBA light heavyweight world championship, Andy Cruz against Moran, and still more to be announced. This is, I believe, the greatest fight card, top to bottom, the US has ever seen. And thank you to these two great fighters. As I said, it's an honour to be working with League One and Terence and his promotional company and all the promoters as part of this Riyadh season event. As always, I back my man. This guy is a super athlete, huge puncher, huge 154-pounder. And all the respect to the Crawford team, but my man ready to keep his championship in Los Angeles on August 3rd.
Yeah, let's speak to Madrimov's manager, Vadim Kornilov, to your far left. Vadim, you always put your fighters in tough fights. You always ask for your fighters to be in the biggest fights. This definitely ticks both of those boxes, doesn't it?
Well, it's really about the boxer himself wanting the toughest fight. And to be honest with you, Israil, and Eddie can confirm this, every fight he's had so far, if there was a choice, you know, we would pick the toughest opponent we can get as he was coming up. And when I called the team, you know, when I called my brother Alik and I said, you know, we have this opportunity. At that point, we were discussing the possibility of having Israil defend his title in Uzbekistan at home. And I was like, you know, there's this opportunity, and, you know, opportunities like this come, you know, once in a lifetime sometimes. We might have it today, we might not have it tomorrow, and, you know, all the respect to Team Crawford for taking a tough fight, because I think this is going to be a real competitive fight. And I hope that, you know, Terence Crawford is going to 154 with all the confidence that he's been in all the other divisions as well. You know, as Eddie always said before, he always said that Madrimov is a top prospect, you know, one of the best prospects in the world. He said that publicly before, and I believe that now it's all proving, and Israil is here to make a point and show everybody what he's made of. I think, you know, and another point is that after the Uzbekistan situation, when I told Madrimov and the guys that the fight's going to be in Los Angeles, they said, you know, this is no different from Uzbekistan, because Joel Diaz, Tony Diaz, Israil has been training in Indio, California, basically every camp. I think every camp he's trained.
So basically what's going on is he's trying to, like, basically he's accustomed to LA, Israil Madrimov. I can understand a lot of people don't know who he is because you would have to have the zone to watch his fights. Not a big name, very highly skilled, amateur background, very good fighter. Not a lot of pro fights, 10-0-1. Am I correct right here? Hold on, let me check real quick. I don't remember. I did cover his fights though. Just trying to figure out which ones. 10-0-1. He's been Charlo's mandatory for quite some time. Uzbekistan. Trains out of Indio. They were hoping to have a fight back home, but then this opportunity came along. He knocked out Magomed Kurbanov last month. Here, I'll pull up that clip for you. Had a draw, a technical weight. I forgot. Oh yeah, the cut against Michael Sorrell. I covered this fight. Technical draw. And he's one of those fighters where you don't make a lot of money fighting him, and you know how they say high risk, low reward. That's him. Here, let me pull up this knockout.
So this is like a second home for him, and he was even more excited about that than anything else. And you know, this is him basically defending his title in his second home, and we're looking forward to this fight. I just want to make sure that nobody forgets that when His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh wants a fight, he wants two top guys fighting each other, no matter what division it is. And we have to remember that I think the reason this fight is happening is just because him and Dr. Rakan and, you know, the entire team, they wanted the best possible fight for Terence Crawford, and I think that's what he's going to get.
Yeah, well said, Vadim. Let's go to Terence Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre. Bomac, so far so good, Bomac, right? Everyone that's tried to step up to Terence Crawford, you found a game plan, and you've been able to win every single time. How does this challenge differ? Maybe because of the weight jump?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for everybody, you know, all the promoters, the guys that, you know, putting on the show. We appreciate the, you know, the challenge. It's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. I told
Madrimov is good.
Terence that, man, you know, we got to be laser focused for this guy. I've been watching him since the amateurs when he fought one of the stablemates. So, you know, I know.
So look, they have experience. So Bomac is taking him serious. You know, he says he's been watching him since the amateurs. I'm telling you, he's good. He doesn't have the American exposure fighting on the zone, and he hasn't been in like you have to be a hardcore boxing fan to know who really Madrimov is to watch his fights. He'd be in the middle of cards. You know, the last card, what was that on the Wild? What card was that? Joshua Ngannou, he was on there, knocked out Kurbanov. I'm trying to find the knockout. But dude is good. He's good. Skilled. Like, if I can go on the record to say that probably the most technically sound fighter that he's going to be fighting. You may say Victor Postol. You could say Errol Spence was supposed to be. But he got, as somebody said, the truth beat out of him. Amir Khan, well, I can't really call Amir Khan really a thinker, if I'm being honest. Amir Khan always had fast hands. You know, had some power behind those hands, but I never really considered him a technician. Like, I would consider Madrimov a technician. So I'm telling you, this is a good fight. It's going to be a high quality win for Bud if he does it, going up to another division. Madrimov is good. Let me run this back a little bit. So yeah, they're taking him serious. Like, he's good. You may not know he is, but he's good.
Turkey Al-Sheikh wants a fight. He wants.
Said Vadim. Let's go to Terence Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, Bomac. So far, so good, Bomac, right? Everyone that's tried to step up to Terence Crawford, you found a game plan, and you've been able to win every single time. How does this challenge differ? Maybe because of the weight jump.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for everybody. You know, all the promoters, the guys that, you know, putting on the show. We appreciate the challenge. It's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. I told the team and Terence that, man, you know, we got to be laser focused for this guy. I've been watching him since the amateurs when he fought one of the stablemates. So, you know, I know what he brings to the table, and I definitely know what his team, his trainers, and them, Joel. You know, they always train hard. They got great champions coming out that camp. But, you know, we up for the challenge. Because one thing, we on the mission. We trying to unify. We trying to be undisputed again. So right now we looking at him like, you know, a good challenge, but overall he's just in the way.
Was there any maybe thought about maybe just stepping your toes in the 154-pound division against an elite guy, but maybe not a world champion, just to see how Terence looks at 154?
Well, you know, I'm sure we all feel like this, and I know Bud feel like this, is in order to be the best, you must beat the best. And so far he's the best at 154, and that's what we're looking for. So, you know, we pound for pound number one, and we're going to continue it from 54 to 60, 68, or whatever, you know. So we ready.
Terence.
You know, they're talking about possibly moving up to 160, 168. Whew. That's some bad work right here. So once again, here's the whole card. Magnificent. Crawford versus Madrimov, Cruz versus Venezuela, Tszyu versus Vergil Ortiz, Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller, David Morrell versus Hot Rod Kalajdzic, Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Excellent card. It's going to be in the BMO Stadium in LA. Seats 20,000 plus. Remember, they got the Hispanics on the card, and don't forget, remember, I identify as being half black, half Irish, and half full-blooded Chicano. So I know we always turn up. We got Andy Ruiz on the card. You know, of course, you know, we Mexicans, we support the Cubans too. David Morrell, Andy Cruz, Rayo, Isaac Cruz. You know, the Mexicans, we're going to turn up. We're going to turn up. But looks like a nice venue, though. It's going to be on The Zone. I wonder if it's going to be on Amazon Prime as well. I doubt it. But it's going to be on The Zone. We don't know what the price is, but it's got my money. So let's talk about Israil Madrimov. I understand a lot of people are like, yo, who's this guy? Bud gonna kill him. But as you can see, Bomac is a bit concerned. He's like, we got to be laser focused. He's been watching this guy since the amateurs. He beat somebody from their camp. I wonder who. And I haven't had this much concern when it comes to a Bud Crawford fight. I knew he was going to beat Spence. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. And remember, I have a post-fight video for a live reaction video for every single Terence Crawford fight, all the way down to Klimov. I've covered every single one of these live after the fight. I was at a couple of them. I was at the Felix Diaz fight. Which other fight was I at? I was at Diaz. Damn, only been in one Bud fight? I was only at the Diaz fight. I was at the Felix Diaz fight. So when I look at Madrimov would beat Evanesian. Madrimov would likely beat Sean Porter. And I'm talking about like a somewhat prime Sean Porter, because remember, where's that fight at that was on Spike? A lot of people thought it was a fight that a lot of Julio Diaz. I would say the Madrimov fight, I would probably, because of his style, I'm not sure. I don't want to say that yet, but I would give him a chance against Sean Porter. I'm not saying he would beat him. Now remember, this is my opinion. I'm not saying he would beat him. I'm just saying I would give him a chance against Sean Porter. I would give him a chance against Kell Brook. We're talking about prime Kell Brook, not broken eye socket. Both sides Kell Brook. Pre-Golovkin Kell Brook. I would pick him to beat Kavaliauskas. I would be confident in that pick. I would pick him to starch out Amir Khan. You know, you just touch him delicately, he's going down. No bullshit aside. I would pick Madrimov to beat a prime Khan. I would pick him to beat a prime, no bullet in his leg, in his knee, Jose Benavidez. I would pick him to beat Jeff Horn. I would pick him to beat Ndangu. By the way, this win right here that Bud has either was look what happened to Julius Ndangu since he lost to Bud Crawford. Oh my God, you see all that red? Since he lost to Bud Crawford. So was he not that good? Or did Crawford just take his soul? So he lost to Crawford in 2017. And then look at all this. And then went what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Went 2-8 in his last 10 fights. Where's his family? Time to hang it up, Julius. Oh, 7 knockouts too? Time to hang it up, Julius. It's time to hang it up. We don't want to see you get hurt, my man. So I would pick Madrimov to beat him. Felix Diaz, I thought that Crawford would have more issues with him, but he dominated him, and I would pick Madrimov to beat Felix Diaz. John Molina Jr., of course. Postol was pretty good at the time. And I think that Crawford could have stopped him, but for some reason he didn't. He let off he didn't engage with him. So I guess what I'm saying is, since what was supposed to be Errol Spence, this is going to be Crawford's best opponent, in my opinion, since probably Felix Diaz to me, as far as being technical. That's my opinion. So when you look at the 154-pound rankings, for what I've seen from Sergey Bohachuk, WBC interim champion, I can pick Madrimov beating him. I covered these fights recently. I can pick Madrimov beating Murtazaliev. I would favor him. So I think that, and I think that he would get Fedorov too. I think that Crawford is right. Madrimov is the best right now 154-pounder since Tim Tszyu is not champion. This is a little bit more of this, and then we'll play the face-off, and I'll give my final predictions on how I think the fight's going to go.
Certainly looks ready. I know you will have Terence ready as well. Let's speak to the fighters. I want to start with the champion first, Israil Madrimov. Israil, I was in Riyadh as you destroyed Kurbanov. Up next is a man that you know is the pound-for-pound #1 fighter on the planet. Was there any hesitation in taking this fight?
How dare you?
Oh my gosh. Why is that so low? You don't hear it? Dice Dreamoff had a flawless Dreamoff. What am I talking about? What up, Dice? He says the biggest ripoff of pay-per-view is having to pay again to rewatch. Oh no, that's horrible. $80 and then can't even watch it again. It's crazy. Before we listen to Madrimov, let me tell you that happened to me before when I purchased a pay-per-view through Fox. It was a PBC on Fox pay-per-view. I think it was a trash one too. Oh, I paid for Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin twice. You want to talk about hot? That was on New Year's Day. So no, I buy all of my pay-per-views through my cable. So I have them in my DVR. I don't buy digitally. Fight TV, which is now Trilogy TV, they have a good digital, like the way they handle their digital. But no, once I buy my pay-per-views, I don't buy my pay-per-views through my cable. I mean, through no apps. I want that shit on my DVR. And then what I do is I have a capture card that I have connected to my PC. And I also record them onto my hard drive. That's how I do my post-fight videos. So, but yeah, anyway. But no, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. That whole time the sound was off. That whole time the sound was off. Shit, y'all ain't tell me nothing. Well, anyway, he didn't really say anything. He just say, you know, like greeted the crowd, you know, saying he's glad to be here, but he's about to start saying some good stuff. Y'all guys need to wake up.
Так скажем, ну, я для этого я всегда боксирую, и когда слышал вот это новости, я рад был слышать этот бой.
There's no hesitation because this is what I've been here in boxing for. And as soon as I heard the news, I was very happy. I knew right away that I wanted this fight.
Terence Crawford, as we all know, unbeaten, a freeweight world champion. You would have watched his fight against Errol Spence, which was supposed to be a 50-50 fight, Israel, and he dominated Errol Spence. What do you think you can do to get the W?
Israel, он в крайнем своем бою, в 50 на 50 бою, который ожидали, он избил, легко победил Эрла Спенса. Ты, скорее всего, видел этот бой. Что ты думаешь об этом бое и чего ты ожидаешь в бою?
You know, I'm not Errol Spence. I'm Israil Madrimov, and this is my division. I can.
It's his division, Terence, right? You are jumping up to his division, which is true. There were so many names linked with your move to 154 pounds. Maybe Errol.
You know, Crawford doesn't really be having too much to say. Also, if you don't know, it was revealed on the Boxing Voice by the handler of Sebastian Fundora, that Crawford tried to fight him first. Crawford, through the Saudis, sent Fundora a contract, likely for this fight in LA. But Fundora is injured; he had his nose busted up. But either way, I think that was I think that he could have been available. I don't know. You know, it would have been August the 3rd, and you know he fought Tim on in March. The end of March, what was that? March the 31st. So maybe he couldn't be available. You know, but it's hard seeing PBC let him go. So for those who don't know, this is going to be for the WBA and the WBO interim title. So which Crawford is going to talk about later on. We're going to play the clip. Fundora, when he returns, has to immediately fight Terence Crawford or drop that WBO belt. And if he does fight Crawford and Crawford beats Madrimov, then Crawford will be fighting for 3 belts, or he would have 3 if he beat Fundora. So basically, if he beats Madrimov, he would have the WBA and the WBO interim. Fundora would have to fight him or drop that WBO belt. Crawford would have 2 belts if he drops it. Then, if Fundora does decide to fight him, Crawford can fight him for 3 belts, the WBC, WBA, and WBO, and it's only 1 more belt to get, which will be the IBF, which is Bakram Murtazaliev. So it's crafty how he set himself up like that. So now we saw what PBC tried to do, where they tried to do that shadiness where Errol Spence got in the ring. He tried to like jump the line to fight Sebastian Fundora, and him and Crawford was going at it on social media. Y'all remember that? I kind of want to take you back down memory lane, but PBC was trying some shadiness. They tried to leapfrog Crawford to get their hands on the belts to probably try to hold up the division again. But now Crawford's in line to get at least 2 belts, and then I don't think Fundora wants to drop his belt, and I think the Saudis are going to throw some major money at Fundora because let's be honest, we haven't heard any numbers for that PBC on Amazon pay-per-view. I do not think it did well at all. I'd be surprised if that pay-per-view did 50,000 pay-per-view buys. Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora. It was a great, excellent card. It was an excellent card. But it didn't move no needles for the American audiences. People didn't think it was going to be that good.
Well, I consider Israil the best 154 pounder in the division right now.
I do too.
So why not go for the top guy in the division right off the bat?
What are your goals, Terence? You've done it all. You're a certain first ballot Hall of Famer. You're pound for pound #1. You've been undisputed in 2 weight classes. As you move up to 154 pounds, what are the goals?
You said what?
What are the goals as you now move up to 154 pounds?
Just continuing being the best. You know,
them Saudi pay-per-views been flopping.
I want to leave a legacy that's never been left before. You know, inside and outside the ring, business minded, just helping the young fighters coming up, you know, giving them the courage and the outlet that the fighters before me never gave to us, you know, and at the same time be at the top on my game as well.
So far, you've seen so many different styles and you've been able to conquer every single style. Do you think Israil does something different from what you've seen in your previous opponents?
No, not at all. You know, like, I didn't see it all. I didn't been up against it all. He's very talented. He's strong. I didn't fought strong people before. He got good footwork. I didn't fought people with good footwork before. Elusiveness. I didn't fought people that's elusiveness. So, you know, it's just a part of me, you know, dictating what I want to do in the ring and taking away the things that he liked to do.
You heard Bomac there mention you could go to 160. He said 168. He thinks you could be another multi-weight world champion. Do you have aspirations of going further up the weight class?
Well, right now we at 154, you know, so I'm going to make my mark at 154, and then if I'm still around boxing, then we'll see what the future holds. But right now, I'm going to make my mark where I'm at.
Indeed you will. Eddie, Riyadh season so far has proven to host some of the best boxers on planet Earth. How good is it? We've seen Israil Madrimov in Riyadh season, obviously first time seeing the pound for pound #1 in Riyadh season.
Yeah, I think, you know, as I said,
we're going to go on to the face-off because there wasn't really anything of real note that was said after that until the post interviews, which we're going to watch. Here's the face-off.
This is going to be an excellent fight.
Listen, Madrimov, you may not be familiar with the name if you haven't seen the zone. No biggie. Listen, the guy got the goods. He's got speed. He's got power. He's in your face. He's always hunting you down. You know what I mean? This is a great challenge, if not more than that, ahead of Bud Crawford.
You know, some guys talk the talk. Terence Crawford really walks the walk. He could have jumped up in weight and taken on a lesser opponent, maybe a more well-known opponent. Madrimov is a title holder, but to your point, not the most well-known figure in the U.S. Terence Crawford said, no, I want the very best in my first fight at 154, and I think he's getting it.
Trust me, you know Charlo, you know Tszyu, you know there's a host of other names out there at 154. You know Fundora. This guy, I hate to say it, he's better than those guys in his own respective way. You know what I mean? He brings a charisma and a style and an energy to the ring that not many can bring at 154.
Now you heard Eddie Hearn talking about Madrimov being a huge 154. I don't see too big a size difference right there between those two men. I think Terence is going to fill out 154 pretty well.
Absolutely. Even making 147 against Errol Spence Jr. I think only his second or third fight at 147, give or take. And he said, "Hey, I've already grown out of 154."
Rivals become. So now he's going to lay out his plan, as we talked about earlier, for the 154-pound division and how he's going to get the belts. Yeah, I was noticing that Madrimov, I guess that's just his side profile. Looked like his jaw was swollen or something, but no, it wasn't.
Friends here again. Terence, congratulations on this fight. A hell of an event coming up on August 3rd in Los Angeles. You have been mentioned with a lot of names over the last 6 months. Tell us how it came to be that you are fighting Israil Madrimov.
Well, my way to 154 led me to be fighting Israil. I consider him the best, junior middleweight fighter in the division right now. And when Turkey had called me, he was just like, "Hey, this is a fight that, we want to make." And I was like, "Hey, let's make it." So, he made everything happen, and here we are.
You've been watching these cards over in Saudi Arabia over the last couple of years. What was it like to get that phone call from Turkey Kalajdzic where he says, "Hey, I want you to be on my first U.S. show"?
Well, like I said, I've been in contact with him, so we've had a relationship since 2001, I believe, when he first reached out to me. But, things happened to where I couldn't, fight. So him telling me that he wanted me to be the face of the first fight in America was just an honor. I was happy. I was just like, let's do it, Why not do it in Omaha, But LA's,
a good second choice.
Yeah.
No question. Your first time going nose to nose with Madrimov there, what did you see when you looked at him?
Nothing. We months away from fight time. Come fight time, energy is going to be up. Focus is going to be on a whole nother level. And, we both going to come out ready to do what we do to get the job done.
I feel like it's a long time coming. You've had all this in Omaha. You get the love in Omaha. Outside of Omaha, a lot of you've had to really scrape and scratch to get people to respect you, to revere you, to feel like he is that guy. You feel like this is everything you've expected and wanted to be finally getting here?
Well, I gotta disagree with you on that, Sean.
Oh, it is what it is.
Everywhere I go in the world, it's all respect. It's all love. And, people tell me that they rate me as one of the best fighters in the world today. So I won't say just today I'm getting the love. I always got the love. It's just that, a lot of people hate, and that makes it seem like there's not love there, but it's always been love. But I'm appreciative of everybody that came out, showed support, and August 3rd is going to be an exciting night of boxing because this is a tremendous card, and like Eddie said, I can't remember the last time ever it's been a stacked card as August 3rd card is.
We heard Bomac say that you want to unify the 154-pound division. Is becoming an undisputed champion at
this is the important part right here.
Third weight class a priority to you?
Well, it's not a priority, but it's up in the air. You gotta understand. It's potentially 2 belts on the line. If Fundora don't fight me after this, I'm WBO and WBA champion. If he do fight me, then that's 3 belts on the line. There's only one more to capture. So, potentially 3 fights, that's undisputed.
And this is a big one going up against Madrimov. When you've watched him some on film, what do you see? What kind of opponent is going to be in front of you on August 3rd?
Well, I don't know. I never like to, guess what's going to be in front of me. We know he can punch. We know he can move. We know he like to put his hands down and be elusive. He got good footwork. So I don't know, but we're going to be prepared for whatever he brings to the table. We're going to train like we always do, and that's, hell in the cell. But, he's going to do the same because we got a good relationship with his coaches, and we know they're going to prepare him to the best of his ability that they can prepare him for. And come fight night, it's going to all explode.
How have you felt? I mean, you're just getting into training camp right now, moving up in weight. Was there an adjustment going from 140 to 147? And do you think there will be a similar adjustment to 154?
I feel great. I always, like I always said, I always sparred bigger guys. I never sparred guys my weight because I was always too strong or hitting too hard, and I never could get the work that I really needed, you know. So moving up in weight is just another stepping stone.
Sean, I want to put you on the spot here for a second there. Crawford Madrimov, how do you see this fight going?
I see this fight going, my first time looking at it was just this morning, I think. Watched a little bit of Madrimov. I think that Terence is going to, like he always does, always takes you a couple of rounds to really see exactly what your guy's going to bring to you. I think you're going to get a lot of Madrimov in your face. I think that's what you expect. I expect the stick to come out from Crawford. We know this about Crawford. He starts to fight orthodox, and then he switches southpaw, and he takes over. So I expect him to start to fight orthodox. I might be telling some stories right now. I might be letting the cat out the bag a little bit, but it kind of is what it is, you know. I think this is going to be a fun fight. I think you're going to have your hands full, but I think you're gonna handle it. You always handle it, man. I don't know, man. It's just something about you. I say this about Crawford, man. Some people are just born to do what they do. Boxing and fighting is something that this kid is just born to do.
Bud, what do you think of that assessment?
Well, you know, it could be halfway right, you know, but
you can't. Yeah.
I see, you know, him coming out, jumping on me, trying to make it a fight early, being that I'm in a new division and he want to show, you know, he the boss and that he's the champ. You know, he got to gain respect right out the gate. So I see him, you know, trying to gain that respect from the gate, you know, but we shall see.
We'll see August 3rd, massive fight, first fight, part of Riyadh season UFC. Bud, good luck. It's going to be a great fight in Los Angeles. 3 weeks' time, though, we'll be in Riyadh for the heavyweight unification fight, Tyson Fury against Alexander.
So, phenomenal card. I got Terence Crawford. I will not be surprised if he gets cracked or gets dropped, but I think that, of course, from my side, Madrimov is going to put up a better fight than Errol Spence Jr. I highly doubt we'll ever see that rematch. I'm interested in what Spence is going to do because he's going to be at 154 now. And now, I don't want it to happen at all, but Crawford can try to freeze him out through the Saudis. So I just think that PBC showed their hand, you know, when they had Spence get into the ring and call out Fundora after disappearing for months, weeks, since losing to Crawford, didn't take the rematch with Crawford, and then tries to leapfrog him, all for it to backfire and blew up in his face. So Crawford has the potential or the opportunity to possibly fight for 3 belts by the end of the year if he has an easy night in August, because as you see, the Saudis are bringing people back quick. He can fight in August and in December. Beat Madrimov, boom, and then if everything works out, no politics get involved. But as we can see, PBC fighters are over here. So what's going to stop Fundora from saying, you know what, the Saudis are offering all this money? Crawford beats Madrimov, then Crawford fights Sebastian Fundora at the end of the year. That's 3 belts right there: WBC, WBA, WBO. And then all is left to collect is that IBF held by Bakram Murtazaliev, who's going to be in for a big payday. Because it's like Game of Thrones, you know? Those belts are very political, especially in this situation. So that IBF belt is going to be highly coveted. And if Bakram Murtazaliev team does it right, he's going to get a good payday. If the Saudis aren't already talking to him, what if the Saudis put on Murtazaliev versus Lubin? What if they do that? Because Lubin's supposed to be in line for that. This would be a very high quality win of Crawford's career, one of the best in my opinion. Top 3 in my opinion, if he was to beat Madrimov. I can say top 3. Especially as he's getting older. And remember, he's never been in no wars. He's never like been beat up. He's just always like, that's crazy, like how he's just been dominating people, like putting them down. Like, and he could have put Victor Postol out. He could have got Victor Postol out here. That was the last time he went the distance. The last time. Stop Delorme back in 2015, 9 years ago. Vergil Ortiz Jr. is fighting Delorme this weekend. Dirijon stoppage. Lundy stoppage. Postol decision. Molina stoppage. Diaz stoppage. Ndongo stoppage. Horn stoppage. But Benavidez stoppage. Khan, of course, stoppage. Kavalauskas stoppage. Kell Brooks stoppage. Sean Porter stopped. Quit. Dad threw in the towel. He wasn't listening in camp. He had this coming. Evernessian stopped. Errol Spence got the shit beat out of him. Crazy. Crazy. And he getting better. Like he just looks like, and I'm going to go ahead and say this crazy shit. It's not crazy to me, but I would give him a chance against Canelo. Of course, I wouldn't dare try to, like sometimes Crawford likes to test his chin. And that's how he said he determines, like, all right, that's the best you got. I got you now. He said that's how it happened against Errol Spence. So, I don't know. Sky's the limit. Because what if he does succeed? What if he does beat Madrimov, then go on to beat Fundora, and then sometime around this time next year, fight for undisputed again? That'll be 135, 140, 147, 154. And then the Saudis say, you know what? Canelo, you want your 50 million? Here it is. You want your 70 million? Fight Terence Crawford. And then Terence Crawford could possibly fight for undisputed at 168. And when you look at 160, let's be very honest here. Let's see how he does against Madrimov first before we get too far down the trough. Let's see how he does against Madrimov first, because as I'm looking at 160, I'm picking him over Lara. Gingerbek Alim Halala, I am not going to disrespect him, but I'm picking Bud over Alim Halala. And Jamal Charlo, well, look how he did against Jose Benavidez. This was above the 160-pound division, by the way. And Jamal is pretty much on his way to 168 pounds, and I will pick Crawford to beat Carlos Adames. But we're getting too far down. Because then when I start looking at 168, I'm like, wait a minute. But we got to see how we do against Madrimov first. Let's see. Because you know how boxing can be. You can get old overnight, man. That's how this business is. And weight divisions are for a reason. He can go up there, the 154, and that power would be different. I will say this, Madrimov is not a big 154-pounder, though. Like, he's not one of the 154-pounders where you can see him at 160 or 168 one day. But at the same time, look, a 135-pounder in Crawford is now at 154. And the way he looked at 147, he's not going to have no issues at 154. So with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. I'm actually going to chop this up since I did videos. I did a full breakdown preview on every fight on this card. First time I did this in a long time. And remember, we're going to be back because we got to talk about Tank Davis versus Frank Martin, Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. I'm actually going to watch that video. I'm going to take my dog out, do some food prep, come back. So sometime in the next 5 hours or so, there's going to be some more content coming out because I want to talk about the Haney Garcia wrap up, set a date for me and Big J, hopefully tomorrow, to talk about Vergil Ortiz versus Tszyu, because Vergil Ortiz is fighting Tomas Delorme this Saturday night on the Zone. You have Jose Ramirez fighting Rancid Barthélemy. I'm covering that card. That's a degenerate. Those are degenerate fights. So yeah, it's gonna be busy. Take your time out. Like the video. This was the longest video I've done. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes, all straight boxing. I haven't done this in a long ass time. So, all right, I'm getting up out of here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the new subscribers, the people who like the video. Also, I see some people follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is linked right at the top of the chat, as you can see. I'm going to chop this video up into several parts if you came in late or whatever, but I might even actually put timestamps this time in my video. I think it'll be better. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and TstreeT Controversy with 5U360.